afternoon, I'm Susie Nordquist and this is your afternoon news fix for Friday the 29th of November. The Manauanui's grounding and sinking off the coast of Samoa was a result of human error. The Navy vessel went down nearly 2 months ago after hitting a reef while surveying the coast. The interim Court of Inquiry report shows a series of human errors meant the ship's autopilot wasn't disengaged when it should have been. Thomas Rice has more.
Chief of Navy Rear Admiral Garen Golding says the crew mistakenly believed the ship's inability to respond to direction changes was caused by a thruster control failure. He says standard procedure should have prompted the ship's crew to then check that it was under manual control, but that didn't happen, so the ship continued in autopilot, eventually hitting the reef and grounding.
Rear Admiral Golding says given the human error finding, a separate disciplinary process will start once the Court of Inquiry concludes. The Prime Minister says they don't want the country's highest earners clogging up the Employment Relations Authority. The government wants to introduce legislation which would prevent anyone earning more than $180,000 a year from raising an unjustified dismissal claim. The change will be progressed through the Employment Relations Amendment Bill, with hopes to introduce it next year. Chris Luxon is in Ashburton today visiting farmers and says people earning that money make up 3.5% of the workforce.
At that level, you've got people who can develop their own employment contracts and their own arrangements around when employment contracts and arrangements aren't working, that they can sort that out themselves.
New research shows the majority of Kiwis support using facial recognition in retail stores. Foodstuffs North Island ran a 6-month trial of the technology in its supermarkets earlier this year to help identify repeat shoplifters and improve safety. It surveyed more than 1,000 Kiwi adults, finding 66% accept facial recognition's use, even if the harm reduction is minimal. The more harm it reduces, the more people support it. 6% of people say they'll never be in favour, even if it meant 100% harm reduction. The Crown has finally closed its case in the trial over the death of Christchurch real estate agent Yan Fei Bao. Ting Jun Cha is charged with murder and is defending himself. The officer in charge of the investigation, Detective Inspector Nicola Reeves, has been repeatedly denying his propositions during cross-examination, where he called the CCTV photos and texts fake. He also told Reeves Bao's damaged phone was planted by police.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That did not happen. That's incorrect. That is another incorrect assertion.
Reeves remains adamant her investigation was conducted with integrity. There are calls for more regulation around alcohol deliveries. A study in the New Zealand Medical Journal reveals more than 70% of alcohol orders are being delivered without an ID check, and almost half are being left unattended at the door. It found many deliveries were also made in less than half an hour. Alcohol Health Watch Director Andrew Galloway says the checkbox many websites display isn't a foolproof system.
What we do know from delivery alcohol is that it can extend a drinking session. People can drink more than they intended to and drink heavier.
To Sport now, and Black Caps batter Mark Chapman has fallen just short of creating Auckland cricket history. He was dismissed for 276 against Canterbury. It is the second highest first-class score ever by an Auckland batter. I'm Susie Nordquist, and that's your latest news fix. We will be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.